Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your hosts, Mike
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. YPN people, I don't know about you, but I love helping out a friend. That's why I want to shout out my friend Brian Little and his podcast, Your Favorite Blockhead. This is the only show that manages to weave together peanuts and MMA into one heck of an amazing podcast. You can find Your Favorite Blockhead wherever your favorite podcasts reside and at yourfavoriteblockhead.com. Do me a huge favor and listen to Brian's show. You'll be entertained and you'll help out a friend. Now, as I said, let's get into today's topic.
So I hear someone has a list of funny Savage comebacks.
Yes. So they all come with their little story. Are you ready for number one?
Well, what's the title of the article?
21 people share the funniest and most savage comebacks they've ever heard.
Perfect.
The question was asked on Reddit, so
Okay.
prepare yourself.
This could be very interesting.
Yeah. So the first one. My mom used to own a hair salon right next to a bar. One night she and a lady who worked for her were closing up and walking in the parking lot, and a drunk guy yelled, "Hey baby, why don't you come over here and sit on my face?" My mom's employee didn't miss a beat and said, "Why? Is your nose bigger than your dick?"
Oh my gosh. That's funny. I like
I know.
it.
Sometimes I wish I could be that quick.
Yeah, that's pretty dang funny.
The second one, it's better, I swear. Sprayed an ex-girlfriend with a squirt gun, and she immediately fired back with 6 months of dating, and this is the first time you got me wet.
Oh.
Snap!
Wow, that one's savage.
I guess she really didn't
That's
like being
going
squirted.
for the throat.
She really didn't like being sprayed with a squirt gun, I guess.
Yeah, that's just out there and crazy. But okay, what's number 3?
Okay, I'm eating breakfast at a diner, and there's an older gentleman sitting next to me at the counter. He stands up to leave, and another old man sitting near him looks at the guy's plate, and I guess he noticed that he didn't really eat a whole lot. He says to the old man as he's leaving, "People are starving, and you're leaving food on the plate." Old man turns to the guy, looks at him for a second, and says, "People are starving, and you're fat. What's the difference?"
Kind of a good point there, though. Like, what's the difference? You're eating more than you should, and I'm throwing away food I shouldn't throw away. So, it's the difference, really. Proper portion size, right?
Well, yeah.
That's funny, though. You're fat, so what's the difference?
Exactly.
The third one was still more savage than that, or the second one.
The wet one?
Yeah.
It's currently my winner.
Yeah.
So,
what's the next one?
reporter. They think your haircuts are un-American. John Lennon. Well, that was very observant of them, because we aren't American.
It's true, they weren't. They were British. That's why it was called the British Invasion.
Hmm.
That's funny. Who'd have thunk that he'd have that kind of a comeback?
He had some other sassy ones that I read somewhere once.
What's the next one?
Are you getting smart with me? How would you know?
I knew that's what that one was going to be as soon as you said, "Are you getting smart with me?" That's pretty funny when you think about it, though, because the person's going to stop for a second and be like, "What did they just say to me? What does she mean? How do I know?" Which just kind of proves the point.
Right. If you're too dumb to figure out why the comeback is funny,
yeah, then
it's about you.
You're kind of dumb, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Next one.
A girl at work had to get glasses, and one of the regulars comes in and says, "Oh man, you should take those off. You look way better without them." And she goes, "Yeah, you look way better without them too."
That can be taken so many ways. Scary.
I think the way she meant it was that now that she can see him clearly, He looks like a troll.
Yeah.
How else could you take it? Talking about glasses, not pants.
Maybe he was talking about pants and not glasses.
I don't know.
Just saying. Maybe he'd rather see her naked.
He probably would.
You never know. Maybe he would. Remember, it came from Reddit.
Right. All right, here we go. I was in line at a sub shop when a lady crammed up to the front and tossed a sub near the cash register. She was demanding money back for some reason. I can't quite remember why. Anyways, when she made her approach, she pushed ahead of some dad-looking man in a suit and got some of her sub mess on him. And as she was getting her refund, the man calmly grabbed her credit card from her and tossed it out the door. She turned to him and the conversation went as follows. "What's wrong with you? Don't touch my property. I'll have you arrested." "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you might enjoy a game of fetch, because you're a bitch and all."
Wow. There's more?
That's great. That one was so great. Wow. Okay, that one might take first.
It's very close.
That's very clever.
Yes, it is. I like that one a lot.
What's your sign? Stop.
Whip out a red sign that says stop.
Yeah.
That's funny. Or one of those crossing guard signs. Stop. That's funny.
I was at a convenience store when a nasty one was rude to the old guy at the counter. Some cool dude steps up and says, "Hey, there's no need for that." The woman says, "Mind your own effing business." Dude says, "I'm a veterinarian and bitches are my business."
That's a play off the other one.
I know, that's
funny.
So good. First, this next one, the person who posted its name is Despicable Dong, which just makes me laugh as much as the rest of this list is.
I'm waiting.
At a bar, and a girl speaks up, out of the blue, how comedians are funny because they are ugly. Her friend quips up, "How come you aren't funny then?"
What did I miss?
She said comedians are funny because they are ugly. And her friend said, how come you aren't funny then?
How come you aren't funny? Oh, she's telling her she's ugly and so she should be funny. I get it now.
Yeah.
Duh. Sorry, I'm a little stupid tonight. Is there another one?
We're only on number 11 of 21.
Nice. So we're halfway there.
When a hurricane was pounding the East Coast and Chris Brown tweeted, "Please pray for Virginia," TV writer Danny Zucker responded, "Oh God, what did you do to her?"
Yeah.
Wow.
I saw something like that on Twitter.
You probably saw that on Twitter.
Yeah, I think that's what I saw.
All right. On my way home on the bus, this big guy hops in. Looks 30 at least. When about to pay the fare, he shows his student card for the discount. The bus driver, kind of pissed about charging student fare to the big guy, asks, "What does mommy tell you?" Big guy answers, "Study, son. You don't want to end up driving a bus."
Ouch. Unintentional zinger.
Yeah.
That was great.
If you look up gullible in the dictionary, you'll find a picture of you. Yeah? Well, at least my dictionary doesn't have pictures, you fucking idiot.
You know what? That one was not subtle. It was not clever. It was not witty. It was just savage.
Yeah,
that one was just savage. Like, they just went for the throat right off the bat. Didn't care if you were nice to them or not nice to them. They were going for the throat. That's just wow. Just wow. Okay.
This short guy at Buffalo Wild Wings, all good stories have Buffalo Wild Wings in them, of course, was drunk and talking shit on my brother for being tall. For some reason, saying stuff like, "Oh, big tall man over here, look at you, aren't you special," etc. My brother responded with, "Dude, I was your height. It wasn't that great."
It is funny because when I used to think of Buffalo Wild Wings before, I used to think yum. Now I think dumb.
Oh my God.
I mean, the things that have happened with Buffalo Wild Wings orders for us online, it's like, I'm sorry, but.
Well, they're bad when you go there. The service, at least in this area. We can't speak for the whole Buffalo Wild Wings chain.
The whole chain, but
we can just speak for the 3 that are nearby.
And it's always terrible. And I don't understand why. Just so weird. But, that's kind of funny. But now I think of them as, I used to think yum, now I think dumb.
You remember when I tried to surprise you for your birthday that one year and invited some friends and we went to Buffalo Wild Wings? They sat us out on that patio and then forgot we existed?
Yes.
I
do remember.
That was when it started.
Yeah. I know.
Okay.
Next one.
When I was 7, I was at a crowded McDonald's near Disneyland. I tried to squeeze through the really long line waiting to order food and accidentally bumped into this woman with her 2 kids. She turned to me and in her most sarcastic and accusing voice, "Well, excuse me," to which my 7-year-old self instantly responded, "Why, did you fart?" A few people in line laughed and I continued on my way. She did not look pleased to be told off by a 7-year-old.
I like that. I like sassy 7-year-olds. They're cool.
Yeah. Oh, this one's kind of a little bit wah-wah, but some kid was making fun of an adopted kid, and then he said, "Well, at least my parents chose me."
That's dark.
Kind of, yeah.
It's dark. I mean, that's just how it hits me. It hits me as being dark.
Yeah.
And I mean, if anyone doesn't understand why, well, maybe you've never been in the dark, like really in a dark place, because that just struck me. It's dark. I was like, wow, ouch. just like when you said when you heard the person hit the hurdle, and you said it must have hurt.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And there was one, and the girl jumped over the hurdle. My son had a track meet today, so she jumped over the hurdle and she landed ankle first on top of the hurdle and fell to the ground. Like, oh, has to be.
Can you imagine
painful.
the shin bruises those people must have?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
All right.
What's the next one?
So, bit of background. Girl I was talking to has always been consistently mean to me. Generally annoying to be around, and no matter what her opinion is, she always has to be right. If you try to call her on it, she just brings in the fact that she's had a hard life. Which, granted, she has to an extent, as a lot of people in her family have died, which is important to the story. One day, she was giving me shit for eating meat, and said to me, "That's disgusting. I would never do that. My body is not a graveyard." So I replied, "No, but your family tree is."
Oh.
She seemed to stop bothering me after that.
Oh. That's another dark one, really. Wow. He went there. That's like a place you don't return from.
Well, that would be why she stopped talking to him, I would assume.
You don't return from that. It just doesn't happen. You do not return from that.
This next story comes to us from Anal Tyrant. And it's kind of long.
Cool. I like long ones.
At middle schools here in southern Arizona, they do a simple promotion ceremony for kids graduating 8th grade to go into high school. It's a stupid process. Public education here is a joke, so there's no way you can not get moved along to high school, assuming you show up for class most of the time. But for some reason, some families treat it like it's some combination of a wedding and college graduation. We're talking multiple hundreds of dollars on elaborate dresses for 13-year-old girls and little guys in ill-fitting tuxes. Well, my wife, obviously we were not married at the time, wore jeans and a t-shirt because it's a worthless ceremony. A bunch of girls in their pretty dresses came up to her talking mad shit about how they couldn't believe she looked like trash and how she was the only one not dressed up. Without missing a beat, my wonderful wife says, "This isn't the last graduation I'll ever attend," and walks away. I think some of these girls might have tried to fight her if they weren't all done up in their quinceanera quality dresses.
Oh, gosh, some of these are funny.
Yep.
Which one is your favorite so far?
Oh. One, it's tied between the two bitch ones.
Yeah, I agree. I actually think I like the second one better than the first one. I think the whole, I'm a veterinarian, I specialize in bitches.
Though the sub shop one was pretty grand.
Yeah, that was.
I thought you might like to fetch. Anyway.
you know, being a bitch and all.
Walking through Disneyland on gay days with some friends, and this little girl in a princess dress tripped on my foot, running diagonal in front of me. I was shocked, and the mother glared at me. Without missing a beat, my gay best friend says in the most flamboyant tone, complete with finger-snapping action, "That's what happens when a princess gets in front of a queen."
Ouch.
There's only 2 left.
2 to go.
This really shy kid that doesn't really speak much was getting picked on by this mean girl. When the teacher tells her, "Be nice to him, he might be your boss someday." Without missing a beat, he replies, "No thanks, I don't want to be a pimp when I grow up."
Oh, God.
And the last one comes to us from Winston Churchill. Nancy Aston. "Winston, if you were my husband, I'd put poison in your coffee." Winston replies, "Nancy, if you were my wife, I'd drink it."
Oh, my gosh. That's a great line.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all, folks.
I think the coffee shop one wins for me. I think that's actually the funniest.
The one with the veterinarian guy?
The coffee shop one where he says, "I thought you wanted to play a game of fetch."
Sub
you know,
shop.
being a
Yep.
being a bitch and all.
That's my favorite, too. I think that one
And
wins.
I think the coffee shop one is a very, 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 very close second.
And then I think the squirt gun one is up there. But those are the top 3.
That was funny. Dating for 6 months and this is the first time you've gotten me wet. That's great. That is just, talk about savage. Can you imagine being on the receiving end of some of these?
I think that you'd just stand there with your mouth open. Like that lady in the sub shop. Like, what do you even say after that? Like, he just savagely ripped you into 17 pieces with 4 words.
Well, and he got away with calling you a bitch, but not in a context that would actually be insulting to people. That's the interesting part about it.
Yep.
He pulled that shit off. That's cray-cray. So, anyway, I just think that these lists are super funny. We'll have in the show notes the link to this article so you can see it yourself. But funny stuff that people put out, and these stories were super funny to me. I get a kick out of hearing some of them. I mean, I'll admit some of them were kind of flat, like wah wah wah, but that's okay.
But you know
most of them were very good.
The last one we read that I found was terrible.
Yeah,
this one was much better.
And that's true. There's been a couple where they're just not very well done. You know, like you read them and they sound good, and then you try to use them on the show, and it's kind of like, it doesn't stimulate conversation, and that's part of the problem. Like this one definitely stimulated conversation. It was great fun. So that's all I got for you guys.
Well, I hope you all laughed. Good night, everyone.
Hasta la bye-bye, Bree.
Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.